So, ciao Verona. I'm Alexandra Spalato, not Alexa. I chose Alexa at the moment, and I realized that sometimes I was making a podcast or something, and suddenly Alexa from the other participant was firing up. So I stopped using Alexa. My true name is Alexandra. I have an Italian name, but it's a fake name. I'm French. And I chose this name as a stage name when I was living in Split, Croatia, and Spalato is split in Italian. But I'm French, and I'm half Spanish, and I live in Madrid. So I'm a freelancer. I'm an AI entrepreneur. I've been doing also developer relation for 2 years, but I'm independent. And so there is so many opportunities with AI for free minds, let's say. So today we are talking about AI for React developers, which are the opportunities, and especially how React developers can learn AI. So first, who of you is using AI for coding? Okay, at what level? Who is basically doing 80% of the work with AI? Okay, I'm just doing that since very little time. And who is creating AI applications? Okay. And who is against AI and doesn't use it at all and is afraid of it? Okay, so first, of course, we can, as I said, using AI to code faster. We have GitHub Copilot, we have Cursor. Personally, I use Cursor long before the hype. Cursor has become to be hype 1 month ago sometimes. Who is using Cursor? Okay, it became hype because of the composer, but personally the features that I really cannot live without is the tab feature. You write something, you change a variable, and it knows. It's like you read your mind, and by tab, you complete everything. So you code really faster, and it doesn't break your code. And finally, lastly, I begin to really code with AI. Not like in YouTube, you can see a lot of videos or non-developers are building applications, but of course they are simple. If they dive in more complex things, they will be stuck. Like I have an image, is a Womba aspirator, you know, it goes around, etc. And at the moment, he's stuck in a corner, and he goes on the corner and don't get out. So if they're not a human that take it and put it in the right way, then you're stuck. So I think coding with AI is in this way. You need to know how it works, then you can direct it, but you have to unstuck it sometime and understand what it's doing. So now the process I'm using V0 and to make the layout. I'm building now an AI app and I'm using that. And then I transfer it in Next.js. First I make a plan with Claude I dump my brain of all what I want to do, and that serves as a master plan. And then with Cursor, with the composer, etc., you go iterating step by step. And about that, there is these 2 videos which are really good, and both channels are good. The second one is for my friend Ankita. She's a speaker too, and she does really great stuff with Next.js, and she has also a course. So yes, I'm bragging my friends. And the other Brandon is really good because it's full stack AI coding. There is Python, there is Next.js, etc. So check these 2 channels. And these 2 videos are about how you can build real application with AI, but as developers. So also I think when we code with AI, we can learn things. Sometimes Cursor is teaching me things. You have GPTs to learn. You have also, you can better understand documentation. Sometimes documentation turns me crazy, so you can ask, oh, please explain me that like I'm a 5 years old and in French, for example. And then suddenly you understand things better and you can extract just a part of the documentation. Or you can create an AI GPT, for example, that you feed with all you scrape the documentation from a library that you want to use, and then you can chat with it and ask questions. So that's really, really great. And the last thing about coding with AI, before that, what we do when we are stuck on something, we go to Stack Overflow, we go to Google, etc. And that's what happened on Google. Oh, this thing is interesting. So I go there, and 1 hour after we are scrolling, and we have lost our flow state. While here we can really stay in our code editor and maintain the flow and strangely have somebody to talk with and don't feel alone. So it's really, really great and understand things better often. So, but yes, of course, AI is not just a coding or learning assistant. You can use AI to build applications that anticipate a user's needs, personalize experiences, or automate complex tasks. So if you dream of launching your own SaaS, like me, this is the way. Also, if you consider a career shift, the demand for AI engineer is going to be huge. And I don't know if you have checked some offers. If you have not, I invite you to check Anthropic. And the salaries they propose are just over the roof. I don't know, I didn't check it since 2 months, but it was crazy things at 300, 400,000 a year, so it's as minimum. So, and there is thing for front-end devs. It's not only really, machine learning, etc. So, and believe it or not, as JavaScript developers, your skills are really a strong foundation to build on. Okay, so what is the learning path to become an AI engineer? If we ask Google or ChatGPT, we saw that we need mathematics, statistics, machine learning, deep learning, data handling, algorithm, data structures, cloud and big data, AI and machine learnings, etc. So, who feel like that? Who feel like that, okay, and think that they need to learn all that to become an AI engineer, and yes, it will be nice, but we don't have time. So, you feel like that. Okay, so you have good news. So, what is, you see here, everything is a subset of another one. So we have AI, machine learning, deep learning, but now we are here. We are in the generative AI stage. So what does this mean? So this is screenshot from Latent Space, from Swix, that says that we are observing a once-in-a-generation shift, right, fueled by the emergent capabilities of open source APIs, availability of foundation models, and a wide range of AI tasks that used to take 5 years and a research team to accomplish in 2013 now just require API docs and a spare afternoon in 2023. So we are here. So this is a research team, the machine learning, all what we have seen, all this mathematics, machine learning, is that, and now we have APIs, and we are after the APIs, and what we call AI engineers are here. So it's like a car. This is the people that are building the cars, the motor, etc. So of course you can take interest how it works, but you don't need to drive a car. You don't need to build the motor. And the API is like the drive. So you can learn to drive. And for that, what is necessary? Doing API requests. So who knows how to do API requests? Okay, much more people. So you can all be AI engineers if you know how to do API requests thanks to the APIs. So this is a tweet by Andrew Karpathy, one of the founding members of OpenAI. In numbers, there's probably going to be significantly more AI engineers than there are machine learning engineers. One can be quite successful in this role without ever training anything. So first, let's get the basic down. So AI is a big umbrella for all the tech, as we have seen, that makes machine act like they have a brain. So machine learning is a part of AI where computers learn from data. So instead of telling them every step, they get better at the task by themselves, learning from examples. Large language models, such as GPT, are special tools under machine learning focused on understanding and creating text. They can generate new text and images based on their training. So understanding these basics help us to see what AI can do and give us a starting point for diving deeper into the world of AI engineering. So now let's talk about working with AI APIs. With APIs, we can ask these AI systems to do tasks for us. So some of the big names in the space are OpenAI with GPTs, Anthropic with Claude, Gemini with for Google, Hugging Face with offer a wide range of open source AI models. So first, what I recommend is try using these APIs to see what you can create or improve in your project. So because it's not just about using them, but understanding how they can change how we build software. So experimenting with these APIs can really open up new possibilities for projects and products. And also what I realized, there is all this hype about AI, etc. Or there is hype and there is reject. There is the two parts, and none of them is true because AI at the end is a tool. And like any other tool, so AI without data is nothing. So for example, the application I'm building with is a travel itinerary builder. So the hardest part and the most important is getting the data for the flight, for everything, and then I use AI to treat that, to analyze it, or to generate content. But if you don't feed it with data, then go to ChatGPT and just add things, and you don't have an application. So that's the point. Using it sparingly when it's really needed, and always do all what you can do without AI, and then you use it like a spice at the right moment. So I recommend to really explore deeply the OpenAI documentation and understand how the Assistance API works, and especially the function calling. Who knows about function calling? Okay, nobody, cool. And Anthropic now is also taking a lot of things. Who have seen the last update from Anthropic that went out yesterday, I think? Yesterday or before yesterday. So now Anthropic has released, I don't know if it's a model, etc., where you can control the computer. So basically, it can go browse for you, click, etc. But for the moment, it's just in infancy because it's the results are 15% accurate, but it's there. So it's quite crazy. So function calling. Function calling allows you to connect large language model with external tools. So depending on the user query, the model will call one tool or another. So if we have two tools, one, for example, for checking the weather and the other to send an email, if you ask, how should I dress in Madrid today, it will, or in Verona, so it will say, take an umbrella, it will check the weather tool, and it will say, in answer, yes, take an umbrella. But if you ask it to send an email, it will use the other one. So he understands what we are doing and calls these tools, who are functions, to execute them. So, oh, I think I have. No, it's okay. So also, to streamline your work, you can use the Vercel AI SDK. That's what I am using in my application. And it's compatible with Next, Nux, Svelte, Solid, Remix, etc. There is a part that works only with React server components, especially the generative UI that we will see later. So this one, you can only use it with Next for the moment. And it has an unified API that standardizes the interaction with various AI models and minimize the boilerplate code. So now let's talk about RAGs, Retrieval Augmented Generation. So who knows about RAGs? Okay. So with RAGs, we can augment the model because the models are trained on all the web. But if you are doing, for example, a chat that is a customer service from your company, the model doesn't know about your company. You need to feed him with this data. And so this will allow the model to use this external information by retrieving it and from there generate the answer. So retrieval, augmented, and generation. So let's see how we add this data to the large language model and how we retrieve the information. So first, the information needs to be broken in chunks because large language models have a limited number of tokens. So for example, if you're on ChatGPT and chatting and chatting and chatting, it will not remember the beginning of your chat because his window of context is limited. So they cannot search in the whole information. So depending on the question, they will find the corresponding chunk semantically similar. This means that we can ask AI to find pieces of text that are not just similar in wording, but similar in meaning or context. And we will apply it as context. Then they need to be transformed in embeddings, which involves converting the data in vectors, which are an array of numbers that the machine can understand. Then these embeddings will be stored in a vector database. There is many vector databases. For example, Supabase has a plugin that which is a vector database. And then the query will also be transformed in a vector and will search the database by semantic similarity in order to generate responses based on the most similar context. So let's imagine a chat about recipes, and your query will be, oh, find me a recipe for summer. And in the vector database, we will have all kinds of recipes, and it should return recipes that are light and fresh, like salads, not soups. So it will determine that summer is hot and need fresh and light food, and will return this type of food. Okay, so in this schema, we see very clear how it works. So the user enter his query on the chat. The user query is sent to the embedder and then stored in the vector database, and also is the what is called knowledge base. Is how we feed the large language model is also stored. Oh, that's here, the data source embedder in the vector storage. And then from there, it will retrieve the most similar context by similarity and will generate the answer and send it back to the chat. So I hope it's clear. So now, if you build a real-world application, of course, it not always be sequential, and you will not only need to prompt an LLM, you will need several tasks. So if you build an application to plan vacation, you will need to understand user preferences, find destination, check weather, suggest travel option. So this is where orchestration frameworks like LangChain comes into play. So they help us to chain different tasks together, as well as methods to chunk, retrieve, embed, generate, and to work with different large language model API. So there is many tools. So there is LangChain, Personally, in my app, I only use the Versal AI SDK, and you can use LangChain inside the Versal AI SDK. LangChain has a version in Python and one in JavaScript. Flow-wise, if you are really, really front-end and don't want to touch back-end, so flow-wise, it's a graphic user interface on top of LangChain. Langbase also, it's a new application where you have a studio. You can create your calls to large language models. You can also do your RAG there, so that's very practical, and deploy an API and version it, and you can use this API everywhere. And the people from Langbase have also released a framework named Base AI, which is based on Node, so you can use it in Next, in Remix, etc. And I just begin to try it, and it's really, really cool. So I think you don't need LangChain with it. Then there is a lot of, as I'm in this world of AI entrepreneurship, there is a lot of non-coders and also automation, etc. And if you look at YouTube, there is, no code, not a single line of code everywhere, like his code is poison, so that's terrible. And for this automation, they use a tool named Make that I really don't like, because you cannot have code anywhere. And so it makes things much more complicated. So I was thinking the impression I had about no code is like they persuade people that code is really complicated, and they teach them a tool that is as much complicated, and you have to think like a coder. And I was thinking, it's like saying, don't learn English. English is complicated. Learn sign language. It will be better. That's really the image I think. And so I discovered this tool, PipeDream, which is an automation tool, so you can chain application, have AI in the middle, like this Make or Zapier, etc. But it's developer oriented, so you can have Node or Python everywhere. You can generate it. So I absolutely love this tool. So it removes the need of infrastructure, but you can have code everywhere. And VAPI is for building AI agents, voice assistants, which are very, very trendy at this moment. I have not dived into it, but I'm going to. And there is no code, but there is that give you APIs and that give you data. And there, for example, you can, as front end, we can build dashboards. For example, you can have an AI caller for sales that make a lot of calls for sales, and then you have the transcript, and you can analyze this transcript and have feedback on these sales and the performance, and build dashboard from there. So that can be very interesting for front end. So there is tons of things to do and tools. It's overwhelming, so I give you some that are really good, because every day there is new things. And now there is a new real-time API with OpenAI. So it's no ending. So now it's time for a demo. So thanks to React Server components, we can create UI components that are rendered on the server and streamed to the client. And they also allow us to use server action, which are functions created on the server that can be called directly from the client. Because of this, large language models can generate and stream UI components from the server to the client. So with generative UI, the model can return React components instead of just text components. So let's look at this. Okay, so I built this chat, and we're going to ask to say him, what happens? Of course, that's the joy of live demos. I cannot, yes, thank you, computer. So, yes, okay. I want to eat healthier and stop eating pizza. So he say, okay, he's happy, he wants to make me eat healthier. He proposed a lot of things. So this is just generating text, he's not calling anything. And would you like some healthy recipes or meal ideas to get you started? Yes. And bam, here we have React components, we have the ingredients. If we click, we go to the recipe, etc. Okay. And now I ask him, give me a quote about food. Oh, I write it bad. Let's see if it works. Yes, it works. And you see, this is another React component. Give me a quote about food with a nice layout, etc. Okay, so imagine that on an e-commerce website. I make it very simple, calling APIs from recipes. I'm going to show the code, don't worry, and quotes. But imagine that on an e-commerce store and feed it in a rag with all the products. Then people can just ask, oh, I want red shoes, I don't know. And then you have all the red shoes that appear there, and people can buy it directly in the chat. So it's one click quicker to buy. And as we know, the more you are from buying, the more it sells. Because at the end, what people want for everything they want to sell, that's business. So I think there is many possibilities there. So now let's see how is this built. So this is done with Next.js. So here in the actions, we begin by creating this create AI wrapper, and we give it actions. And here we have the continue conversations that have all the chat and generate text. Then we stream the UI. Here we give the model. We have all the messages. But this is the interesting part, the tools. And so that's tool calling. So we have two tools here. We have the get recipes and the get quotes. And here the get recipes description is, okay, get recipes by query. You understand, oh, they want recipes, so I'm going to call the get recipes tool. And we describe it with Zod and the parameters, so okay, it's just a string. And then we call generate, that calls the function that I have written somewhere else, fetch recipes function, and we have a recipe component, and then we return the recipes here. And here we have get quotes. Again, here I'm calling an API for quotes. Same thing, gets quotes from a query, so here quotes say, okay, I have to call this tool, generate equals the fetch quote tools, and return these React components. Then we add this, we wrap our layout with our AI component. Then we have here a chat form and messages, well, and we have everything on the page. So I will give the, oh, I think the repo was before, so I'm going to give it back so you can take a screenshot. Oops. And, okay. Okay, it's here, so you can take a screenshot. Okay, so I think, I don't know if I'm advanced or if I'm late. I have no idea. So, in conclusion, as React developers, you already have the foundational skills to dive into AI. So the syntax and problem-solving abilities you've developed in React are perfect stepping stone to mastering AI technologies. And there are so many possibilities, whether it's enhancing your current projects with smarter features, automating complex tasks. And that's what I recommend. So perhaps automate things of your day-to-day that you can do faster. Think of in your work, in your even in life, you know, it doesn't have to be work. Okay, what is repetitive? What could I build a little apps that make my life simpler and make me, instead of doing repeating things, I'm going to have great time developing a little tool that will save me hours every day or every week. So you can also shift to an AI-focused role because the demand of AI engineer is growing, and just JavaScript skills give you a solid foundation. So don't wait. Start exploring AI today because it's going very, very fast. We don't realize. Combine it with your React expertise, and you will find yourself at the cutting edge of technology, ready to innovate and create the next generation of application. Remember, AI is not just for specialists, it's for developers like you who are ready to take the leap and lead in this exciting new era. And here you have all the links. You have all the links, but better have them in the in this QR code. There is everything, and you can find me. This is my personal website, my LinkedIn, my X. So now, if you have questions, I'm here, and if you have more questions, I'm there, and I'm a people person, so you can find me, no problem.
Okay, so who has tried the chain? The chain. What's it? Chain lang?
What?
The one you can chain, because I've been trying.
LangChain.
The which one?
LangChain.
LangChain. Yes. Who has tried LangChain? Nobody. So yeah, I was trying also this AI. So but thank you. Give her a big clap first. Okay. So, you know, I was trying those AI because I was hearing ChatGPT, OpenAI, you know, how does that work? So my manager, you know, gave me this kind of task to actually try it. But I didn't, you know, when you try LangChain, you can see that it groups all your responses from OpenAI.
Yes, it was the Versailles SDK too. It's you make the same code whether you call OpenAI or Anthropic, etc. And one thing I forget to show, yes, there is this full stack AI course, which is one of the two channels I show, and I'm going through these courses, and is great. It unlock my application because it's a course to teach you how to think application and not just code. And there is Python, Next.js, etc. It's very, very complete, and I really recommend to go through this course because it's often hard to. There is so many things. I think we can know everything, but what to use and how to use it. That's the thing.
So yeah, how many of you are interested in using AI? Okay, but none of you have tried anything. No. Well, what have you tried? Do you want to come up? Come and talk. Give him a big clap because he's very. So you know, there was this conference that we were doing in Lagos, and I like when they were bringing people on stage and they were saying their experience because it's more. So yes, what's your name? Alexandra, right? Yes, tell us what you.
Hello, everybody.
Hello.
1, 2, 3. Okay. Yeah, basically, I tried what is most common, the different LLMs, Claude, Gemini, OpenAI ones, GPT, V0. I tried sometimes to build some stuff with V0. With time, I realized they are tools that need some time to practice with. They are powerful, but with some limitations, and you know how to navigate between them, basically. So that was basically the kind of my own personal conclusion about using
At the end, it's like everything. You have to practice, and it's
yeah,
a tool.
but I agree, but the first perception when these tools came out, it wasn't that.
Yes.
They were like the holy grail, all solutions were.
Yes, and like you see in YouTube, it's clickbait. Oh, look, I have a Replit and I build, I'm not a coder. But
yeah.
One thing I saw also on Twitter is this guy named Relay is making a lot of things without code and using V0, etc. But he make a tweet say, oh, now I want to learn to code. So I think this is going to reveal software engineers that don't know about it, but they want to dig, and so they will learn to code. So it's
Yeah, definitely. I agree.
Thank you so much. Big clap. So this is the thing. Like, there's a big hype about AI, but there is also Copilot. Is it included in the?
Cursor is much better, to be honest.
Cursor is much better.
Yes, this tab thing. For example, if you generate code in Cursor, not even if you use the composer, it creates you the files. But if you use the chat, it generates the code, like in GitHub, it has a chat too, but then GitHub say, okay, and no, I don't write this code, etc. And then you have to paste it in your code and break it, and then cursor, you just pinch play, and it adapts your code nicely. And when you make auto-completion, it don't break your code, and things like that GitHub break it. And it's a pain, because GitHub, and I have GitHub for free. I'm Microsoft MVP. I have Copilot for free, but I pay for Cursor.